Do you wash your hands after you wipe your butt? Do you even wipe your butt? If yes, you should brush and floss your teeth. Let's look at some stats from the CDC. You know, that evil government organization that tricks people into getting sick? The CDC? Let's see what they say about hand washing. Keeping hands clean is one of the most important steps we can take to avoid getting sick and spreading germs to others. Many diseases and conditions are spread by not washing hands with soap and clean running water. Feces, that's a fancy word for poop. Feces from people or animals is an important source of germs. I don't know if important is the right word there. Is an important source of germs that cause diarrhea, and it can spread some respiratory infections. These kinds of germs can get onto hands after people use the toilet or change a diaper, but also in less obvious ways, like after handling raw meats that have invisible amounts of animal poop on them. Is there invisible poop on plants? Who's thinking about becoming a vegan? Nah, plants are grown in poop. There's probably poop all over those things. Teaching people about hand washing helps them and their communities stay healthy. Hand washing education in the community reduces the number of people who get sick with diarrhea by 23 to 40%. Reduces diarrheal illness in people with weakened immune systems by 58%. Reduces respiratory illnesses like colds in the general population by 16 to 21%. Are you catching all these numbers? Reduces absenteeism due to gastrointestinal illnesses in school children by 29 to 57%. We don't need no education. Da-na-na. We have diarrhea, yeah. Not washing hands harms children around the world. About 1.8 million children under the age of 5 die each year from diarrheal diseases and pneumonia, the top 2 killers of young children around the world. Hand washing with soap could protect about 1 out of every 3 young children who get sick with diarrhea, and almost 1 out of 5 young children with respiratory infections like pneumonia. And here's the kicker. Estimated global rates of hand washing after using the toilet are only 19%. Okay, so that's pretty wild. 1.8 million children under the age of 5. If hand washing were more commonly practiced, estimate is that a third of them wouldn't die from diarrheal illnesses. That's what, 600,000 human beings? Bananas. So simple, yet so difficult. Why, as a dentist, am I obsessing about this hand washing thing? Is it because I'm OCD and I wash my hands all the time at work? No, I wash my hands an appropriate amount, thank you very much, between every patient. All right, there's nothing wrong with me. I don't have a problem. That's what you're supposed to do. So yeah, I wash my hands a lot, but that's not why I'm talking about this. If everyone took the time to wash their hands when it was needed, we would prevent the spread of lots of illnesses that cause significant harm. Who can calculate the lost positive impact all those kiddos would have made on the world if they weren't tragically water pooping themselves to death? I shouldn't make light of the situation, but that's what I do when overwhelming tragedy tries to wash over me like a diarrheal hurricane. I'm sorry, that was insensitive and disgusting. I apologize. I'm a dentist. Why am I talking about washing your hands? Well, guess what causes tooth decay? Germs, bacteria, okay? Now, I'm not telling you to wash your mouth out with soap. I'm not a complete psycho, like Ralphie's mom in A Christmas Story, where she puts the bar of soap in his mouth, the poor kid. I'm not a nut job like that, all right? I have a heart, okay? But I am telling you to brush and floss your teeth. Brushing and flossing is the washing the hands of the mouth, okay? Repeat after me. Brushing and flossing is the washing the hands of the mouth. You don't even have to do it multiple times a day, all right? Wash your mouth once. I'm asking you, wash your mouth out once each day. Do it at night, right before bed. Don't eat or drink anything afterwards. Go to sleep with a clean mouth. You've heard of the clean plate, kids. Be a clean mouth kid. We all do that. We're going to stop a lot of cavities. To get a cavity, you have to have bacterial plaque built up on your teeth. The bacterial plaque takes carbohydrates, turns it into acid, breaks down your teeth, causes cavities. Carbs plus bacteria turn into acid, acid wrecks your teeth. If you don't have any plaque, even if you put carbohydrates on the teeth, it doesn't cause any harm. Who knew? Also, just like sometimes I get tongue-tied. Also, just like washing your hands with soap and water is better than washing your hands with just water, washing your mouth with a brush and fluoride is better than just a brush. You can get all the plaque off by brushing and flossing, But fluoride gets absorbed by teeth and makes them stronger, so they are resistant to cavities, makes them more resistant to the acid. I'm trying to keep this video short. I made a video all about toothpaste and brushing technique. I made a video all about flossing technique. There's a video about fluoride. I've got all sorts of other dental health tips, tricks, and advice on my channel. The bottom line is that washing your hands is a really simple, cost-effective form of healthcare. People don't think of it that way, but it is. It's healthcare. It's preventative medicine 101. Brushing and flossing is the same way. It's very inexpensive. Anyone can do it. It takes very little time. You just need to build the habit into your routine. Easier said than done, I know. It's especially important that we teach our children this habit by continuously demonstrating it to them through our own actions, right? Give them something to imitate. Also important to help them by assisting them before they're able to do it themselves. Typically, a kid needs to be able to tie their shoes before they have the coordination to brush their own teeth or use floss picks in between their teeth. The habits we have as kids carry over into adulthood. Washing hands stops the spread of lots of germs in between people. Washing sugar, carbs, and bacteria off your teeth stops cavities. I've made my main point. You can keep watching if you think you like me as a person. Otherwise, you can mostly peace out. So I'm going to share some related thoughts from one of my favorite books, Super Freakonomics. Super Freakonomics. So this is from chapter 4 of Super Freakonomics. It is a fact of life that people love to complain, particularly about how terrible the modern world is compared with the past. They are nearly always wrong. On just about any dimension you can think of, warfare, crime, income, education, transportation, worker safety, health, the 21st century is far more hospitable to the average human than any earlier time. Consider childbirth. In industrialized nations, the current rate of maternal death during childbirth is 9 women per 100,000 births. Just 100 years ago, the rate was more than 50 times higher. That doesn't sound so good. So in Freakonomics, they talk about Ignaz Semmelweis. I'm probably not saying that correctly. He was a physician in Vienna in the 1840s. Women were dying in childbirth from these awful fevers, but it was weird because they were dying at higher rates when the male doctors delivered the babies than when the female midwives did the baby bringing into the worlding. What's up with that? You know, the patriarchy was causing all these serious problems for these poor women. What's going on? Semmelweis, he figured out that the reason these women were getting fevers is that the male doctors were going straight from the autopsy rooms at the hospital to the delivery rooms. Right? They'd perform autopsies on the women who just died, and then they would go back and touch the women who were having babies, and those women would get fevers and die, and then they'd go do an autopsy. Do you see how this cycle might repeat itself? So Semmelweis, he's a genius. He says, hey, let's clean off our hands so they aren't contaminated with dead person stuff when we go to bring new life into the world. And all the other doctors thought he was a kook. But his idea worked. All the doctors that washed their hands, their patients' death rates in childbirth plummeted. A lot more women started surviving in the hands of these clumsy patriarchal doctors. You know, they didn't know anything about germ theory. They didn't know tiny microorganisms invisible to the human eye could kill like that. But now we know. And thankfully, we all dutifully wash our hands because we're rational human beings who understand the importance of basic hygiene in maximizing and optimizing long-term health. No, I'm just kidding. We're really bad at washing our hands still. We're illogical animals ruled by our passions, our anger, irritability, depression, manic states. We're a goofy nightmare. We don't care about logic or rationality. We're disgusting and unworthy and horrible. But we should still try to do our best, right? Just because you're a psychotic, filthy pig doesn't mean you can't brush and floss your teeth and improve yourself a little. I believe in you. Here's the other reason I'm making these YouTube videos. There's another story in that same chapter of Super Freakonomics about this guy, Peter Chamberlain. Not a cool guy, in my opinion, right? This bozo, he invented these kick-ass forceps that you can use to pull babies out of ladies safely. Lots of babies were dying unnecessarily when they weren't turned the right way on the way out. But he didn't publicize the invention of these forceps because he wanted his family business of doctors to be more successful than everyone else. That's lame, bro. Everybody's got to make a living, all right? I understand that. But hoarding knowledge like that really F's up society in the aggregate. It's not good, you know? Ultimately, what's bad for the hive is bad for the bee. It doesn't pay long term to be greedy like that. So, I've got all this knowledge up in my head, and I'm fully confident that Unless something crazy happens, like an angry YouTube commenter decides to hit me in the face with a golf club and smashes all my teeth, as long as that doesn't happen, I'm going to have beautiful, healthy teeth and gums for the rest of my life, right? Barring some unpredictable catastrophe, I'm never going to have dental problems. That's cool, that's great, good for me. But wouldn't it be cooler if that were the case for a whole bunch of other people? Wouldn't it be sick if less people were sick? How neat would it be if it were as simple as washing your hands to make that happen? It almost is, right? It's as simple as washing your teeth. There's some other stuff that helps. It's not just washing your teeth. I've got other videos about that stuff on my channel. You can go check those out. I just disagree with that Peter Chamberlain bozo, right? Hoarding knowledge isn't the best way to make a living. You can make a living sharing knowledge too, right? There are enough women having babies that Peter Chamberlain could have still pulled out his fair share of babies, Other dudes using his forceps around the world wouldn't have ruined his business, right? That's the whole scarcity mentality thing. The world is never going to run out of problems, right? As long as you're trying to help people contribute to the solving of problems, you're going to be useful. You'll be able to make a living. World's never going to run out of problems. There's too many problems. Problems always keep popping up. All right, let's say, hypothetically, this specific video, eliminates dental decay worldwide. There's no way it's going to happen, but let's say it did. All of a sudden, dentists like me aren't necessary, right? Wrong. We just switch jobs. If we make it so that everyone has cavity-free teeth, they could take all that money they're spending on fixing broken teeth and they could spend it on perfecting their smiles. Dentistry can do all kinds of cool cosmetic stuff, but most people can't afford it because they're too busy having other painful, difficult, expensive dental problems, right? If you take away the dental problems, people could focus on dental improvement. Crazy, right? That'd be the new problem, right? We always have problems. We like to invent as people. We invent problems, but some problems are more fun to have than others, right? Having the problem of making your teeth look pretty is a better problem than having to pull your teeth out because they hurt. What I'm trying to say is don't hoard knowledge, share what you know, help people help themselves. The world might get a little bit better that way. Thanks for watching. Today's video was sponsored by that feeling you get when you're about to go down a roller coaster or when you crest like a really steep hill. That stomach floaty, droopy feeling. This video was sponsored by that feeling. Have a nice day. All right, here we go. We're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting. Teleprompter. This is why you don't put text on your teleprompter that isn't actual text for your video because it takes a while to scroll. All right.